Before we get into this Chris Brown podcast and discussion, remember everything that I'm saying is alleged, all right? I'm not saying it's factual. I just want to let you guys know that. Just a disclaimer to protect myself. Now let's get to it. All right, you guys. So I know it's been a while since I actually been on here. It's been several months since I actually did an audio podcast, but I'm back. I'm going to try to do things a little different than before. Most of you guys are used to me basically having it, so I'm on here for like 2 hours straight, but I feel like it's better for me to just go subject to subject. And today, the subject is going to be about Chris Brown and his album Breezy unfortunately flopping on the charts, and Chris Brown being angry because it flops, going after his fans and making posts on social media, coming at people because no one bought his project. Now, what I will say, and I want to just really get into and dig into in this conversation, is the reason why Chris Brown album has flopped and subsequently why his career has slowly flopped over the years. And I am not coming from a hateful perspective with Chris Brown. I'm just basically trying to give out some advice that maybe somebody next to him that might watch this video may give him. But now, although Chris Brown decided to go on a press tour trying to promote this new album, Breezy, unfortunately it didn't work in his favor because it looks as if he didn't really chart too high upon his release, and Chris Brown was fed up with his fans. Now, in a post on Instagram, he stated, July 8th, Breezy Deluxe album, ... Not that it seems to matter, ... Seems like y'all only invest in the negative stories about me. Chris gets in trouble, the whole world is in on it. Chris drops an album, crickets, and he put a cricket emojis right there. And it was on it was a post and delete on his story timeline on Instagram. And of course, everybody on social media picked it up. And from there, I just read the comment section because I was just trying to get more intel on the reason why Chris Brown albums have been flopping and his music hasn't been hitting like it used to. But let's just be realistic here. For me, I feel like one of the biggest reasons why Chris Brown record and his albums has flopped for the most part is due to the fact that he insulted his core fan base. He insulted black women. He insulted dark-skinned black women. Allegedly. Remember, everything is alleged. All right? And for most of you guys that's on there, you guys are probably talking about, oh, wait. Rihanna incident happened 15 years ago or 14 years ago. That was 2009. We got to move on from that. I'm not talking about the whole Rihanna incident. Although that could be a large factor of why he lost a huge fraction of his fan base, because when Chris Brown started off, he was like the goody two-shoes. He was like that, that kid R&B friendly. And people, of course, every time it's like when new male R&B artist comes out and he is like a teenager, they always try to compare them to Michael Jackson. But Chris Brown really had the chops to be the next Michael Jackson, in regards to his stage performance, his presence. I actually seen Chris Brown perform in my hometown when he had just started out with Running. And when I tell you, he was so amazing for his age. He literally did a backflip on this tiny stage. He had so much energy, and it was unfortunate, because once people get in the industry, they become corrupt. And I'm not saying that it's Chris Brown's fault that he was caught up in the situation that he was in. He probably just wanted to make it out. He probably wanted to be successful. Most people that's in the R&B sector that become pop stars, they come from poor, neighborhoods, and they really just want to get out of there and use their gifts to get out of there. And I feel like Chris Brown was on that path of success. And then the Rihanna incident happened. Ever since then, he lost a huge fraction of his fan base, all right? And then after that, you had more incidents with him occurring, with him and his girlfriend Karrueche. I remember, how many years ago was that? When they had that like standoff outside of his house when he was having a party. It's just been a ton of allegations against Chris Brown that has really hurt his overall persona and his career. And, Chris Brown has been working hard to basically fix his reputation to try to get those fans back, but I just feel like it's impossible. And listen, you guys, even after the Rihanna incident, there were still a ton of people supporting Chris Brown, whether it's men, women, particularly black women, because black women are very forgiving when it comes to abuse and things of that nature. They'll move past that if you show that you actually are trying to change, okay? But I feel like the final, knife in the back for Chris Brown's black women fans were when Tokyo Vanity went to social media and made claims that Chris Brown was a colorist. Now, before Tokyo Vanity went on a live and basically called out Chris Brown for basically blocking her girls from going into his party due to them being black and dark skinned, there has been a ton of accusations surrounding Chris Brown being a colorist. The problem is that Chris Brown's core fan base were and is primarily, black women. Okay? So if you are trying to promote and push a brand out, it doesn't matter what it is. You could be trying to sell lotion. You could be trying to sell t-shirts. With Chris Brown, he's trying to sell his music and his voice. If you insult your core fan base and offend them, they're not going to support you. And from what I was reading in the comments section, there was a huge thread of black women like, I'm sorry, I don't have time to buy music from a colorist. I don't have time for somebody that don't support me or somebody who wouldn't let me get in a VIP because I'm dark skinned. All of these things, all these allegations have surrounded Chris Brown. And the thing is that people could say that, but when you have people like I said, like Tokyo Vanity from Love and Hip Hop going on a microphone on a live claiming that her and her homegirls couldn't get in because they were black, Chris Brown, what do you expect? Most of the people that was supporting Chris Brown were black women and some black men. And for the most part, black men don't really buy records like that. I would say if you really do like the studies and statistics, most of the people that buy into the black market is teenagers, like Caucasian teenagers, or black women, because black women really like music, and they're going to invest, especially when it's a male that they're sexually attracted to or they find enticing. They're going to support the hell of it. I mean, look at R. Kelly. Like, R. Kelly had allegations going on his entire career, but black women continue to support him. They still support him, even with all of the stuff that's going on. But the thing is that black women are willing to keep supporting, even if you allegedly assaulted other black women, they'll be willing to support if anything. But the biggest thing that you don't want to do with black women is basically display colorism. That's when they're out the door. Okay, they're not buying your record, they're not supporting it, because now they feel away. Now you don't hurt their feelings. All right, so that's one of the biggest factors. One of many of the biggest factors behind the reason for me that his album has flopped. The core fan base. Secondly, Chris Brown needs to evolve. All right? I feel like he has not evolved artistically and when it comes to maturity, because Chris Brown is in his 30s. And the thing that Chris Brown has to understand, that his fans from the early 2000s, if they were teenagers at the time, because a lot of people, like I said before, I'm 30. All right. And Chris Brown is older than me, I believe, by a couple of years, if I'm not mistaken. And that means that he probably was in that demographic of maybe people that's 10 years older than him, which means most of these people are in their late 30s, early 40s, maybe in their mid 40s. And they're not interested in the particular content and music that he's producing because he's sticking to the same subject matter. It's like Chris Brown won't evolve and mature musically. And I know a lot of people are probably going to be throwing tomatoes at me saying I'm a hater, but I sat there and I listened to his music. So I have actually helped Chris Brown get on the charts. He got his record right here with Wizkid, that's number 76 on the Billboard Hot 100. I actually helped because I was listening to his music. I seen that he dropped his music videos for his project. I see that he was actually on several podcasts and radio shows doing interviews. And I would say those interviews were very interesting and very telling. Okay. And it was other things, and I'm not going to get into that right now, but I'll probably get into it to the end, that let me know that Chris Brown, he does care about his career, but he's going about it the wrong way. He's going about it the wrong way. And I just feel like it's time for him to evolve. I think it's time for him to talk about other things besides, oh, I had sex with this person, or my thing is this big. Oh, this, and this. Like, how many records can you make about sex? Especially when you are releasing a project with 24 tracks and nearly every song on here is about sex. Like, no sensuality with it, no nothing. It's just, oh, she F me and this, and this. People are getting older. especially in this time where we are dealing with a pandemic, all types of stuff. Like if you go down in history when it comes to soul music, and you have like James Brown and Michael Jackson, they talked about love. They talked about life. They talked about, even a little bit of sex. Michael Jackson ain't really talked that much about sex, but probably a little bit of innuendos maybe. But Chris Brown in general, he just doesn't want to evolve. And it's like Michael Jackson, because everybody want to compare this man to Michael Jackson. It's incomparable. And even Chris Brown said it on his radio interview with Big Boy. He can't be compared to Michael Jackson. The reason why is because Michael Jackson is the greatest of all time. And the reason why, because he didn't have to sell sex to sell records. Michael Jackson literally, and I'm pretty sure everybody, like all artists have their writers, their producers, but Michael Jackson did write his songs. He also worked with Quincy Jones. And he was from a totally different time where people didn't have to use, sex or announcing that their penis was a certain size or, for them to sell records. It was just pure talent, and I feel like Chris Brown is one of the most talented men and when it comes to R&B in the world, but he's also lazy. And his laziness shows. Because when he did his interview with Big Boy, he's like, oh yeah, he had over like 500 songs or something that he produced, but he said a lot of them he didn't keep because they kind of sound the same. Well, your album overall, from me listening to it, most of your songs sounds the same. The content is pretty much the same. Of course, he added a little Afro beat or whatever, but it's like, what are we trying to evolve to at this point, Chris? Like, what are we trying to do musically that's something that's so astonishing? Like, because I was waiting for that song. Because everybody knows when they listen to a record, what song is going to be that single. Anybody that's out there that's a music lover, they know, for the most part, what song is going to be the single. And they get on that album, you be like, yo, this album is type of my favorite song is this joint. And it picks up. But when I sat and listened to Chris Brown's new album, Breezy, I didn't particularly find a song where I'm just like, yes, I can't, this is going to be my turn up. This is going to be, because his album from the previous, like, it just all sounds the same. My other issue, and this is why, and this is, once again, these are reasons why I believe his album flops, okay? If his fans, I'm not too much of a Chris Brown fan, but, I do have people around me that listen to his music, and when I sat there and listened to his catalog, it just seemed like somewhere in between there, the production, songwriting went completely left. I don't know if he doesn't have a team or he's not reaching out to other producers, but I feel like it's time for Chris Brown to evolve, reach out to new songwriters. If he's the only songwriter for his brand because he wants to collect his money, that's fine, but find some new producers to inspire you to write some different lyrics or get assistance, all right? There's nothing wrong with giving someone a piece of the pie. I don't know. Okay, because he's saying that he done made 500 songs. I don't know if he produced all his songs, wrote every song that he did, or what, but it's time for him, if he can, get some new producers to try to find his sound again. Another thing, Chris Brown decided to compete with rappers. All right? That could be a big factor of why your core fan base won't buy your records. When you came in on some pop R&B stuff. Now, granted, in his first record, Run It, of course, he had hip-hop features. He had Joel Santana. He was always an R&B hip-hop guy, but he actually sung. It wasn't a ton of auto-tune everywhere. It's like, when I listen to this new project, I'm like, okay, all right. Every 2 seconds, I'm hearing auto-tune. Turn the auto-tune off. And this also goes to all the R&B singers, the male singers from the verses. Oh my God, y'all need to be in singing boot camp, or y'all just need to hang the towel up and never ever step on a stage again. Because what I've seen, and that includes Omarion, because I really feel like, and I'm going to get back to Chris Brown, but I just feel like Omarion has let social media hype him up so bad because he's attractive and he has a body, he has long locks and whatever. All the women is screaming over him that he done lost his entire voice. He's too busy trying to be sexy that he done forgot how to sing. If he did know how to sing in the first place, okay? Now he want to drop documentaries talking about some, I want to know the truth behind B2K. We want to know what your voice really sound like. I don't care about none of this drama with B2K no more. I want Omarion, and as a listener and supporter of Omarion, to go into boot camp, get your voice together, because that was an embarrassment on Versus. And all of the men that was on there, they should be embarrassed for them to really be happy and perform like that and just embarrass all of their R&B male singing counterparts. That's an embarrassment for the culture. It was an embarrassment for everybody. But let's just get back to Chris Brown and his singing. Chris Brown, you use too much auto-tune. Now, I don't know if he's lost his voice. I know oftentimes when you have a long career, you start to have changes in your vocals and things start to evolve. Your vocal cords start to change and you don't sound just like how you did when you first came out. Of course, he came out, he was a kid. You know, that's been almost 20 years. He's in his 30s now, you know? So, of course, he's going to have some type of changes in his voice. But it's like, when are we going to actually hear you sing? Because you are an R&B singer. You are a pop singer. And it's like now you're a hip hop artist, now you're an Afrobeat artist. Like, what are you? And your fans, what they are, you know, in this age range that we are in, within our 30s to like 45, we want to hear you sing. We want to hear your voice. There's nothing wrong with dropping material for TikTok or whatever, but don't forget about your core fan base. And your core fan base begins supporting you because you could sing, Chris. You could really sing. And of course, you can still dance. Now, I don't know if your voice is not up to par, and that's the reason why you keep like hiding it behind this auto-tune, but you're not Future. You're not T-Pain. You're Chris Brown. And if people are going to compare you to Michael Jackson and also have the nerve to try to put you up against Usher, I need to hear your vocals. Like, for real. And I need you to go into boot camp and get your vocals together, because just as a listener of yours for almost the past 20 years, I would be just embarrassed and ashamed if you went on Versus and pulled an Omarion. Okay? And I'm not trying to compare you to Omarion. Clearly, you have a catalog 10 times more than his. You didn't start off in no band or in B2K. You started off as a solo artist. And I know that you had the musical genius in you. I just feel like that's one of the other reasons why the fans are not buying your records. They're not buying the records. And the other thing, all right, is presentation. When you're presenting to your fans and you go on a rant basically blaming the fans for your album flopping or trying to go after them saying, oh, you only support me when I'm doing something bad or this, and this, you're turning your fans off because now it's like you're trying to blame them because of your lack of artistry and your lack of performance. Do you see Beyonce going on social media, going off because Break My Soul is number 7 on the Hot 100 charts and it's not number 1 yet? You don't see her doing that. Beyonce puts in work. Beyonce drops and she moves. Beyonce sees what's going on and she tries to evolve accordingly without being classless. For you to go on social media and say, oh, this and this, well, maybe you're taking a shot at the media. You don't want to take a shot at the people who's going to open their wallet or use their Apple Pay to support your music. You know, like, that's my biggest problem with that. And I feel like even just going into the conversation in regards to the current state of R&B for men, because the women, they're out here, they're doing their thing. They really have been out here producing amazing music. They've been doing their thing. You know, we got SZA, we got Summer Walker, we have her, we have so many new singers, especially Jasmine Sullivan, who's been in the game for a while, but she's starting to get her flowers. Really, the girls are out here doing. The black girls, y'all literally rock. But I need the R&B crooners or whatever you guys are supposed to be, these guys from B2K, all of these people, Ray J, all of y'all should be ashamed of yourself. Y'all should be ashamed of yourself. For y'all to come on the stage on Versus and to display such lack of talent. I mean, it's just, and you know what? And I'm saying B2K. Actually, not B2K, Omarion. And then Omarion is on here, and let me just, I'm getting back to Chris Brown, but I'm saying it's just so astonishing to me that Omarion is being so cocky on the stage when he could barely sing. The dances weren't given. And then he's going to sit here and eat a watermelon trying to be weird and freaky. We still got COVID out here, Omarion. We still got COVID out here, and you out here sharing your saliva with strangers. I don't got time for none of this. All right? Back to Chris, y'all. Because you see, We gonna have to do another video specifically about that verses. And I know it happened 2 weeks ago. I know that a lot of y'all's got like attention spans of like literally a baby, but I still have to express myself. Okay. I still had to express myself. But back to Chris Brown. So those are just a few factors of why I believe his album is not doing very well. Now he did, what I will say on a positive note, at least he went on a press tour. At least he's putting an effort to connect with other podcasts and blogs and stuff like that and doing interviews and being open to it. And I mean, he seems to be enjoyable. I enjoy his attitude and everything else. But what I will say, and I don't know for a fact, I'm not saying that this is true. I'm just saying my thoughts and opinions. If Chris Brown is, not really taking care of himself, he needs to do what he needs to do to get it in order. So we can actually hear and see that, because it just seems like he's saying that he's putting in a lot of work, but it's not reflecting on the material. It's not reflecting on the material, and how many other I went through a pretty decent list of why his album flopped. But I feel like those were the main reasons why his album flopped for the most part. Like, you insulted your main core fan base, which are black women, and they just was like, sir, bye. Your growth has been lackluster. The project, you pushing out, quantity but not quality. And that's a big point, too, that I want to say why his album is flopping. Your fans can tell when you just are trying to oversaturate them with a bunch of records, but it's not of quality. It's like, I feel like Chris Brown went from producing quality at the minimum to producing quantity, and it's not quality. It's just like, come on, man. Like, something's going to have to give. His team is going to sit down, reevaluate some things. Chris Brown, he needs to hire a new vocal coach. His next album, please, sing without auto-tune. Because really, I just feel like auto-tune is literally the worst of the worst when it comes to R&B singers. You guys have become so lazy just in general. Just because somebody put a voice box out, now all of a sudden it's like everyone's fake singing. It's starting to become real Milli Vanilli-ish, like for real. But I just feel like that's the main reason why Chris Brown album has flopped, and also, like I said, lastly, the other thing with Rihanna and him, that whole fight that happened, that also took a big fraction of his fan base. But I just feel like, up until now, his career has lasted for nearly 20 years. I feel like through the years, of course, you're going to lose fans. No one is going to stay at the same peak of success that they started off with. It's going to change. It's going to evolve. That's just how things are, but it's really up to Chris Brown to choose to evolve with his fans. Like, pay attention to your age demographic that you're promoting to. It feels as if Chris Brown is really trying to focus on that younger audience when he's way past in his 30s. Like, how about you try to cater to the grown people? Mix it up. You could do both, but I just feel like it's time for Chris Brown as a man to evolve musically, and also apologize to your core fan base. How about that? Now, I've seen that he actually did a music video with Normani, and everybody on social media was dragging Normani for actually being in a video with him and supporting his brand or whatever, vice versa in this collaboration that they were doing. But that's not an apology. Just because you put a dark-skinned black girl in a video with you dancing, that's not an apology. And Chris Brown, if you know that you did something wrong, and you're not on that colorist time, come out and speak about that, man. Like, explain yourself to your core fan base, and maybe by then your album sales will increase. But really, black women are just in the state of mind where we're just not supporting people that don't support us. And we're not going to be getting halfway supported out here and trying to buy records for somebody who allegedly, I have to say allegedly, is a colorist. And don't get mad at me. Don't sue me. Sue Tokyo Vanity, because that's what she said. Y'all can go on Google and go find what she said. I don't know. But there's been other girls that was making claims and stuff too, models and stuff like that. So, there's nothing wrong with admission, because no one is believing him right now. And that's probably why another reason, once again, why nobody is buying his records. Now, you listen to the record Breezy. He said he's dropping a Breezy Deluxe album on the 8th. I believe the 8th is today. And I'm going to listen to it, maybe give it a listen and see what he's talking about, whatever. But if I press the play button and those additional songs is nothing but sex, having sex, more sex, we fucking and having sex, I'm just going to have to turn it off. I'm going to have to go on, find someone else to listen to and just keep it pushing, because it's time for you, Chris Brown, to evolve. And hopefully when you get this video, you don't take it as a thing where somebody's hating on you. Understand that it's constructive criticism. I'm pretty sure people in my field and in the world of media will give me constructive criticism, and I'm receptive to that. But I just really want Chris Brown to win. And the reason why I want him to win is because he is very talented. He's very talented, and he seemed like he's matured over the years. But it's just so many allegations, so many bad stories out about him. And although he's trying to say that when Chris Brown gets in trouble, everyone wants to come and follow, but you have to stop making trouble so nobody has to follow. You're in trouble because you decided to act out, allegedly. You're in the media for the things that you allegedly did. Now, I know the last girl, she made up that entire story about him, and he should definitely sue her, because that's just not right. If somebody didn't do anything to you, what you don't do is go on social media talk about something, I'm suing for $20 million, knowing this man ain't touch you. Now, that's not okay. That's absolutely not okay. However, all right, from Rihanna on up until before this whole situation with the last person that came out and made these strange statements, his reputation, your reputation overall, Chris, has been tarnished, man. So, and then with the colorism thing, man, it's tough out here, because these guys, they're going to go on social media and they're going to say, yeah, I mess with Chris Brown or I support Chris Brown. But it's really the black women buying your records, man. So either cross over to another fan base that's going to increase your sales, or apologize to your core fan base. And then we can see what's what. And also try to evolve musically. So that's my little rant. All right. This is a miniature podcast. Usually I sit here and talk for 2-3 hours, but I really want to try this out with this subject to subject pod, where I have discussions about certain things that's on my mind, and I'm going to see how it does. And if it does well, we're probably going to do podding like this for a long time until we really solidify the core fan base and listeners on all these other apps like Apple, Spotify, and everything else. I want to thank everybody for listening. And I also want to thank everybody that has been supporting my overall media brand. You guys made it possible for me to get 1 million hits in 60 days on TikTok. And that just happened this month. So thank you guys for supporting. I'm out here producing. You guys got to bear with me. I'm running an entire media brand. I'm a blogger, of course, podcaster. I do voiceover work. I'm putting out content for YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. And of course, I still also be mixing it up on the ones and twos, putting my Make Show stuff together every so often for the people to listen to on my other YouTube channel. So, I'm a very busy woman. I'm just glad to be able to be back on the microphone talking to you guys. I want to thank you guys for supporting me. Share this. If you guys can, share it with your other people. I don't know who's going to be listening. If you guys are on the app, share it with your people. What I wish? I really, really wish that there was a comment section in Spotify or something. But on Apple, leave a rate. And if you guys leave ratings at the bottom section, you guys scroll to the very bottom where my show is. If you go to my show page, scroll to the bottom. You can leave reviews. You can give me 5 stars. You can give me up to 5 stars and leave comments on it. And it doesn't have to be oh, well, I like the show because of this. You can just talk about the particular topic I discuss, and I'll read it, because the more comments and, of course, the more interaction, the better. But, yeah, y'all, I want to know your thoughts in regards to Chris Brown and, his album Breezy flopping. Just flipping and flopping all over the place, all over the charts, and not making it to, where he wanted to go, which is straight up. Do you guys feel like I'm wrong? Share your thoughts. Do you guys feel like I'm right? Share your thoughts about it. But that's my personal perspective. That's my personal perspective. And once again, no way am I trying to drag Chris Brown and da-da-da-da. I don't got nothing against that man. I don't know that man. But I am a listener. And hopefully he listens to his supporters and, or just critics. I'm not his fan, but I'm not his enemy neither. So I'm just a listener, and I read those comments, and the fans are tired of you repeating the same content. That's for one. They don't like the fact that you're allegedly a colorist, and they basically just want you to evolve and turn off that auto-tune. It's really that simple. And do your marketing a little better. Even though he's doing the press tour, he can do his marketing. Everybody can do their marketing a little better. I can do my marketing a little better. So that's all I got to say for this video. 30 minutes is a wrap for me. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Listen, we got so many other topics to review, and I am going to come back in regards to this whole Omarion situation, because Omarion is supposed to be dropping like a documentary discussing the drama at the Millennial Tour with Fizzo and all of them, and Little Fizz sleep with his baby mama and all this other stuff, the drama that's going on after the verses and stuff. But Omarion, you're next in line, because we can really just go down all the R&B boys. We really can. Okay, from Ray J running around here singing horridly, sounding terrible. All right, making a whole campaign about him not being able to sing. That's sad and that's embarrassing. Like, you are the brother of Brandy, the vocal Bible, and you out here doing this. And down to Omarion just thinking his abs and his long locks is good enough. Okay, it's not. We need vocals. I need you to serve us some vocals on the platter. Okay, maybe you should hang out with Maybe you should hang out with Mario, and he can help you out. I know that you're not rocking with him. You're still trying to diss him, but you can't diss somebody who's literally singing you under the table. You might want to talk to him and ask him what is he doing, so you can get your voice in order, Omarion. Because this is absolutely. I was embarrassed. I was sitting there waiting like, ooh, touch, and I just like, oh man. All right, it just wasn't giving what it was supposed to give. I'm gonna get back on Omarion on the next pod though, and discuss it in a scandal. But if you guys are on YouTube, hit the thumbs up button, hit the like button, leave a comment. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Much love, peace.